Kinchit karoti saha. And the translation is having abandoned attachment to the fruit of action, ever content, depending on nothing. He does not do anything though engaged in action. That's akarma का पूरा definition दिया है कि first of all उसने attachment of fruits of action छोड़ दिया, and then he's talking about when he said that attachment, he opened it up somewhere. Let me see what he said. All he said was basically same thing again. He repeated that the clinging attachment to a fixed result,
right,
is that what we need to give up.
Yeah.
And that's where our problem comes. हम लोग को result तो मिलता है पर हम लोग खुश नहीं होते उससे. Like students, मेरे को A plus क्यों नहीं मिला, A minus
Why
क्यों
did I
मिला?
come second?
Yeah, हाँ, एक ऐसे fixed. अबे तुम्हें क्या पता कि what's the bigger picture, I mean, you're not there, to know everything. So that's what he means. And then
Are you sure the heating is working? I'm sorry to, but
थोड़ा बढ़ा दो.
हाँ बढ़ा दीजिए.
you all are feeling cold.
Yeah.
Cold.
And you know what? You should bring
And I'm
socks.
wearing-
See what I do? I bring the socks and just wear it.
Over here.
Yeah.
I have learned this in San Diego area. Just take your socks in your purse, because when you're in the car, you feel okay because of the
Heating is
yes.
there. Yeah.
But yeah,
74 था.
just make
No,
it
but I don't think
78.
it's running.
Yeah,
We don't hear it.
This must be around about 66.
Yeah.
You know,
Moving on.
the
I think
weekend.
it's not working because I never heard the sound that when he put it on that it came on. It didn't come on.
Maybe I didn't press run, is it?
See?
इसमें जो एक्सप्लेन कर रहा था ना, तो मन से कर्म होता है, शरीर जड़ है. It's so
Yeah,
nicely,
उसके
you know,
पीछे मन होना चाहिए, of course, because
and actually cooking is a very good example, because cooking is something that we experience every day, and from one day to the next we experience how you have this thing and what was the end result. Sometimes you make a dish, some favorite friend is coming or something, you make a dish and it turns out so good, and they ask you, but what is the recipe, and you say वही तो डाला है.
exactly. But तुमने बहुत मन से किया. मेरा हमेशा ऐसा होता है.
मन से तो the food comes out so well.
Yeah, and you get the confidence also. That's why the prasad is always so good. And I mean, the Hare Krishna temple is close to our place.
Yeah,
So I go
prasad
there
is so
Sundays,
good.
and it's not failed us for a whole year. I go so many times, and every time, even my son, he doesn't care much for Indian food. There he will eat it because it's so tasty.
Yeah, it's
and
so
they always
tasty.
say
They are
that.
good cooks. They are good.
No, but you know why?
No, they
do it
cook
with
it
love.
with so much
Because you
shraddha.
cannot even go until you follow certain protocol
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So you cannot cook. You have to, firstly you have to be clean, and then you have to chant Hare Krishna,
Yeah.
and only devotees they let them come. People who really, because it's a voluntary.
Otherwise they don't allow
It's
you in the
not
kitchen.
working.
You won't even go there if you're not, you
Yeah.
don't care about
Nahi,
Krishna.
nahi,
You won't
chal
go
raha
I
there.
would love to go there, that food is so good.
Yes.
Because never made a sound
But
last time we
Ashmi
fished
is
it on.
never so willing, and then to go all the way andhere mein akele, I would love to take Shri. Shri loves going to places like these, Shri or hum.
Why don't you come and I'll help you to go back. I can drop you too.
Let me see.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Yeah. Because Shri also loves bhajans. She loves going.
Yeah.
She gets a vibration.
To recap, having abandoned attachment to the fruits of action, ever content, depending on nothing, he does not do anything though engaged in action. So he's going to just explain all that. So firstly he says, we learned that he who has abandoned all concerns for action and has also renounced all his attachment for the fruit is a perfect worker. So we learned that. But now he's saying that the journal belief is that, किसी को पूछो भाई, what is karma yoga, right? So answer मिलेगा, to act without an eye upon the fruit of activity is a path of action.
Right.
Finished. So he's saying that that's very limited way, and it's not the correct understanding. So correct understanding is a little more. So then I highlighted this whole paragraph I'm going to read because that's very important. And a lot of things are repetition,
Right.
but we still need to hear it because
Yeah,
Krishna
sure.
Bhagavan repeated it. We are not asked here to renounce the fruit of action as such or to ignore them. But we are only warned to renounce our mental slavery and intellectual clinging to the expected fruits.
Right.
That's what it means.
Yeah.
Only when we get preoccupied with the expected fruits of our action do we come to exhaust ourselves and thus become inefficient in our activities, forsaking and then he used the word tyaktva. इसमें लिखा है ना tyaktva karma phala sangha. So he's saying forsaking or clinging, that means sangha, to the fruit of action, karma phala. We are advised to strive for and to achieve the welfare of the society. That's another thing. Now, what does nitya trupta mean? You know the word nitya means always, trupta means satisfied.
Yeah.
So,
Nitya Trupta.
so ever satisfied.
Ever, always
So-
satisfied. Yeah.
So what does it mean? He's going to tell you now. A perfect master has no clinging to the fruit of action, right? Because such an anxiety can come only in one who has got desire for it. So a perfect master does not have a desire for it. He is ever afterwards completely satisfied in his intimate experience of the infinite of his own self, and therefore he could feel no incompleteness. Thus, having no desire, he acts in the world not seeking any fulfillment for himself. So he acts, but he doesn't find fulfillment for himself. That's what Nitya Trupta means. And I think that one Buddha story which you may have heard, I absolutely love. So you must have heard this story, but usko thoda open kiya is particular incident mein. So you know, you've heard the fact that there was one fellow who came who was against Buddha. So he started coming and giving him galis. And Buddha kept calm. He kept giving continuously. And फिर वो बोल के इतना थक गया कि he got exhausted, he went back. And Buddha did not react. So when he goes back, he was laying in bed and he was thinking, उनका बार ना बुद्धा का चेहरा उसके सामने आ रहा था, calm and serene. So उसको लगा कि हाय मैं इतना चिल्लाया उसके ऊपर. How did he become so quiet? There's something in him. I gotta go find out.
Yeah.
So he goes next day and he told Buddha that, you know, I shouted at you so much, and how come somebody else would have just be angry after a while?
Right.
So what is in you? So the Buddha, instead of giving him a direct answer, he said, suppose if you have eaten a very good meal and you're totally full till here, and then if I bring some food to you, will you eat it? He said, no. He said, well, if I bring a bad food to you, will you eat it? He said, no. If I bring gourmet food to you, will you eat it? He said, no. So he's saying that that's what my condition is. I'm so full, I don't need from you anything. So whether somebody gives me a praise or because हम लोग को लगता है कि खाली bad thing को avoid करना चाहिए.
Yeah.
But here in this, there's a different context.
Right, it doesn't affect him.
वो अपने आप में इतना तृप्त
तृप्त
था.
था.
Trupta. Right.
That's nitya.
That's
trupta.
what he's saying.
Yeah. So तभी हम लोग को कभी-कभी लगता है ना कि oh my God, the one you sent, right? One story about Krishna. Maybe somebody else sent it because I get so many different ones.
Yeah.
Where Karna को के साथ बहुत नाइंसाफी हुई.
हाँ, I
right?
sent you a whole lot.
You sent
3,
it,
4,
right?
5, yeah. About Pandava and this thing and Krishna, why some
Yeah, you said
answers.
कि भाई कर्ण ने बोला कि मेरी माँ ने मुझे छोड़ दिया, फिर मेरे साथ ये अन्याय हुआ, तो why? So then Krishna भगवान ने बोला मेरे साथ क्या क्या हुआ था देखा. जेल में तुम्हें डाला हुआ.
It started before I was born
और
also.
उसके 7 भाई बहनों को मार डाला, फिर उसके बाद पेरेंट्स को जेल में डाल दिया, फिर हर बार राक्षसी पता नहीं कौन. I mean he never had a chain from the worldly perspective.
Right,
Yeah.
फिर भी बंसी बजाते रहे वो.
Right.
So that's nitya trupta, I think.
इसी में वो बुद्धा में देख रहा था तो उसमें एक सिमिलर था, not the Trupta
Oh,
one,
that
but
that's so nice.
but
you don't
he
feel like
this guy comes and he abuses him, and then he's calm. So he says, "How come it's not affecting what I'm saying to you?" He says, "Supposing you have a gift you want to give to your neighbor, and let's say he doesn't take it, what are you going to do?" He said, "I'll keep it myself." he said that's what I believe. That if you are giving me, I don't want to take it, then you'll own it.
That is funny. I know, I think the stories are so great. But
Yeah.
even the other one, that when that fellow was kept giving him, spitting on him. There was one saint who जा रहा था नहाने गंगा में. So one man hated him, so he came and spit on him. So instead of getting angry, he went in the Ganga again and he came out. Again he spit on him.
Oh no.
Again he went in the Ganga. So he did 108 times. So वो आदमी बोला same thing. He said, I spit on you. How come you're not getting angry? He's saying, मेरा देखा कितना पुण्य हो गया. I'm again and again going back to Ganga. मेरे को तो प्रणाम करना चाहिए तुझे.
Yeah,
तो
yeah.
मैं
Thank
एक-
you.
मैं
Thank
एक-
you. Sometimes, people do bad things and it
You
turns
get
out to be
strong.
good.
Yes.
Yeah.
It
yes.
turns out
Because
to be
your
in their
intention
best
is good.
interest.
Because
I have had this experience,
Yes,
you know.
yes.
Not that bad things have happened, but some things.
Sometimes
like
you may
but
think
then-
that the guy is doing bad, but then in the end you come out the winner and you have
Yeah,
learned
yeah.
because
something. and yeah.
your intention is good,
Yeah.
तो
It
वो
doesn't affect
कुछ भी
you.
करे, your thing will. Like in Buddha, you
What
see
you
that
want to do.
throughout his
Yeah.
life.
Yeah. अब वो बचपन का एक था ना बुद्धा का मेरे को I love that when he gave that little girl that he used to like, he
Yeah.
gave her the
Wow.
seed and he
Yeah.
said there's a whole forest in it.
Yeah,
Oh.
that was so beautiful.
And-
Because he gave her seeds.
Uh-huh.
And he said that, oh, you're giving, everybody laughed at it. He's saying, no, I'm giving her the whole forest.
Right.
Because she can go
And
plant
she
it.
grew it.
Yeah.
She grew it.
Yeah.
And she grew it in her kingdom.
That's good.
And
It's just
उसने भी
small,
बोला
but
उसको
then-
कि when he won this war with the elephants,
Yeah.
so he said, how did you do that? And she said, you're the one who helped me. He said, how? He said, because she came on an elephant and she made him friendly to the elephant and he could talk to the elephants.
Oh, okay.
So that's how he collected all of this army of elephants by talking to
Yeah.
them, and he brings
Yeah.
them and then
And he
No,
wins
this
the
is
war.
the-
Yeah.
Sometimes the smallest gift is the biggest gift.
Yes.
yeah, you never know how
But
it's
now,
going.
she talked about smallest, you talked about the elephant, which is the biggest.
But
When
like,
the war day.
I tell you, like you say, smallest gift. When I was in the Hare Krishna temple, there the Gita Jayanti is
Yeah,
happening right now.
right.
Many celebrations
Yeah.
happening, so they were also celebrating, and they were talking about an incident. So they actually give out free Gitas, and you can
Right.
sponsor, And he said you never know whose life is going to change.
Yeah.
And he said there was one incident. This is a true story that happened. He's saying that these Buddhist monks had come somewhere, okay, and somebody gave them a Gita as a gift. So they said, "Hey, to Hinduon ki hai," because some people separate this Hinduism. and
Right,
Buddhism.
Yeah,
So they
yes,
were
yeah,
like
correct.
ले लिया courtesy से, but they didn't want to open and read
Yeah.
because they thought कि हम ये क्या करना है इसका हिंदू book है. So the fellow went and home and put it in his shelf.
Yeah.
And he was from another country. I don't know which country, which did not speak
Yeah.
English.
Right.
And this book was in English.
Right.
So वो पढ़ी रही तो उसका बेटा एक बार आया and he wanted to learn English.
Right.
Right? So he thought that he will pick up some book which is in English so that he can learn English.
Right.
So that was the only book on the shelf that was in English was Bhagavad Gita. So he
Okay.
picked up that book
Ah.
and he started reading it
Yeah.
to learn English.
Right.
Soon enough,
Yeah.
he finished many chapters and he learned English.
Right.
Soon enough,
Yeah.
he started feeling some
Yeah.
vibrations.
Right.
Soon enough, he got hooked to it.
Right.
Soon enough, he got so hooked to it, he started chanting Hare Krishna and everything. And then he became the guy who opened all the centers in that country.
Oh, okay.
In one of this Chinese country, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll call Atma. He'll be tired,
Yeah. This is much better. Actually.
Yeah, I'm not feeling
It's-
cold now
It's
anymore.
warmer. You
Yeah.
can sit here.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's plenty of place. I can
Sun
move
is
a little bit.
sun
and
is
Atma
coming
can sit
straight here. You
where I'm
can sit
sitting.
here.
I thought that was
Atma can
amazing.
sit here.
That was a true story
Yeah.
that happened.
Right.
So you never know. Acha. So the should I wait? Nirashraya.
I think let Shaveen come.
He went for a walk. He was saying.
When we see him, we will call him.
That's okay.
Understand the meaning? Jo ashray mein mean thing is called nirashray. So depend on nothing. So ordinary mortal, we live, we depend on quality and quantity of fruits of action सारा time, right? In the profit earned and average man, that's what we do. But the sage का क्या situation होती है? He's ever free from the demands of life. He can never be a beggar at the gates of actions. That's what he's talking about. He demands no fruit, he needs no wages. The very action that he's doing are in themselves sufficient reward for him. And then he talked about the painting. He's saying, here I'll read it since the painting. A true painter never willingly sells his masterpiece. To him, that piece of canvas upon which he has lavished long periods of effort is now by itself a complete reward, even if he may be starving. As compared to the satisfaction and joy that it gives to the painter, he feels that even all the wealth in the world would be too little of a payment for it. If a mere finite piece of art could thus give an ignorant man of agitation and desire such an invaluable joy, how much more intense must be the diviner joy of a perfect saint working in the world of names and forms. So indeed, the self-realized ones, after their experience of infinite reality as their own self, become perfectly independent of everything else. So कुछ हुआ तो ठीक है, and then we have countless stories in India, from India, because there are so many self-realized people. इतने उनकी problems हुई,
Yeah.
but they did not face at all. So now he's talking about main thing, that where the science of anxiety for fruit of action is coming. He's saying it belongs to the ego center. That's what it is. You know, the ego in us, that's the one, it depends on all these things. That's the one which is discontented. That's the one which wants reward. So he's saying that it's something like the reflection of the sun in a cup of water can be broken up when the water in the cup is shaken. But when the water is poured out, there's no even reflection bhi nahi hai. So that's the kind of mind saint ka mind hai. Like when you talk about that no mind but working from a
Right.
head, that's
Yeah.
what it means.
And you're very beautifully guided, and immediately you know whether a child
Yeah.
has spoken and
Yes.
guided you in some way, or
Yeah.
circumstances have come,
Right.
whatever it is.
So he's saying such an individual who has rediscovered the self, though seemingly engaged in activity, does not do anything. So that's where the akarma mode comes in.
Right.
कर तो वो बहुत कुछ रहा है,
But there is no
doesn't
consequence.
he's not.
Yeah.
And then he talks about another scientific fact. He's saying some people मतलब ऐसे कैसे possible है. So he's saying अच्छा मैं I will give you the example in the dunya. He said when a train is moving and is going from Bombay to Calcutta to Madras, is the steam moving? Technically, a steam is not moving. Steam is just giving the train this mass of iron which somebody has put together, which is called train. It's giving it motion. Train is moving, not the steam.
Yeah.
Agreed? So the same way the self doesn't move, only the matter moves.
Right.
And the person who is established in the self, that's why he's not doing anything, because he is established in that non-moving thing. That's where it's coming from.
जैसे हम लोग ने last time example दिया था भुना हुआ चने को, भुना
हाँ,
हुआ चना
हाँ,
should not
हाँ.
terminate.
So he's saying that the body, mind, and intellect act in the world of objects, not the all-pervading self, the life in us. So that's why. So even the worldly example exists.
Right.
You know. Okay, so those are the two verses, are very power packed.